Hi, I'm Jacob with TFcast, and today with us we have Jason Knudson,
Hi. Hi,
Willis in the
Jacob.
back.
Hi, Willis.
I'm here too. What's up?
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Just brief introduction. Jason is a friend of Triple Falls, musician, artist, many things. We recently had a chance to shoot a little bit of video together with your band Lodi. And just right off the bat, the show on the 27th is indefinitely postponed right now. We're working on changing that due to the concerns with the outbreak.
Yeah, it's a shame. We were getting really stoked to get out there and start playing. We had a few out-of-town shows booked that also were the victims of the coronavirus. It's pretty rough stuff.
Yeah, what was the furthest date that you've had canceled?
That was our show.
Our show?
Yep.
So that was 27th of... Oh, so they were in between now when you shot the video and
Yep.
then...
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard of some things pretty far out getting canceled already, like things, well into next month. So I'm a little bit curious as to like how far out different venues are doing things.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a plan right now. I see a lot of Instagram pages, labels, venues, bands. They're, basically live streaming live concerts while they're happening and nobody's in the crowd. You've seen some of those?
I haven't, but we kind of had the same idea over here where, we're hitting up bands who are like losing their bookings and being like, hey, you want to do some work on the web?
Yeah. Seems like a pretty cool option. And I mean, if, a band has a means to, receive money, like through Bandcamp or, through any other avenue, it's kind of cool to like, hey, we're going to still play this. If you want to watch, if you want to donate $5 like you would have if you would have gone to the show, that's kind of cool too. But obviously, people's, attention spans when they're, going all over YouTube or whatever can get pretty short. So
yeah,
it's not something you can depend on,
I've had this weird thought for the last few years that there's going to be like pay-per-view bands that like stream into bars and stuff.
Weird.
Same with DJs too. I think that's an interesting way of doing that.
I think, yeah.
Like I'm just DJing from my bedroom, but it's going to basically every club in Mankato, and they just put it on a TV and connect it to the sound system.
Yeah, that could maybe, well, yeah. But I think there's going to be a whole lot of that, like, coming up where,
Yeah.
I don't know, TV bands are great. Like, there's some bands that I've loved seeing on TV forever, like The Roots. I don't even know what show they're on, but, like, The Roots is the best part.
Yeah.
What
It's
show is
funny. It's like a talk show, right?
that? Yeah, there's a funny man.
There is a funny man on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird how coming from like you guys are, promoters, you are, like engineers, sound engineers, and you also do, booking and managing down at the bar. And it's kind of the same, if you're in a band or if you're in a band actively booking shows, it's just kind of like, the bottom just fell out. And by the disease, standardized disease time frame or whatever, we probably have a good 2 months before things start picking up again. But it's just seeing bands canceling their entire tours is like, whoa. I mean, that's how they make their money, and that's really, really tough.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I was able to get unemployment for bartending. I just applied for that today. I wonder if there's going to be any kind of relief for entertainers who had contracts signed with venues. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see how much different that really is or why there wouldn't be some kind of relief for it.
Yes, yeah. Especially everyone's, like if you're doing that, you're kind of a business owner. You're doing your own thing. You're your own boss. So that's kind of tough. I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know if there's ways in the U.S. to, apply for hardships like that. I mean, but like, in other countries, especially like Canada, there's like arts foundations that actually pay, bands to record albums, stuff like that, So, but I don't think we have that here really.
Minnesota has good grant systems.
Yeah, I know someone, Betty, she got paid to write an album last year.
Oh, really?
She got paid through a grant. Yeah, and there was some stipulations on it, like she had to record the thing in public. I mean,
It was the
perform
same
it in
grant
public.
that I just got, I believe. They just have project specifications where you have to you apply with a project in mind, and then you get your project approved, and then you at the end have to have a performance that debuts the project and has to be free and has to be in the public. So, but our systems that enable artists to get those projects funded, and that's super cool here. I think it's fairly unique to Minnesota, even.
Okay, sure.
Maybe even the region, or was it a state grant or a regional grant?
It's regional.
So that would be like, something to alert artists about, because I guess I really haven't ever applied for a grant since college. So, and that's a long time ago. So I don't really know what's out there anymore these days,
It wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be specifically helpful in this instance, where I mean, basically, like you said, the bottom fell out, and it did. Everyone I know doesn't have shows. We're doing some organizing for Solstice, and I sent out an email, and I just got back instantaneously, and was like, oh yeah, all my shows are canceled. My thing's open, ready to work on that project. But it was not what I had expected, to get back, immediately. So
Good.
yeah, but hopefully that project progresses a little bit. Let's talk about Lodi a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. Boy, Lodi happened really quick, and it's happening really fast. So a little bit of background. When you came over the other night and you graced us with your presence in our practice space, and we were pretty loaded. We kind of morphed out of this band called Let It Breathe that Randy and I are still members of. But Let It Breathe really wasn't doing a lot as far as playing a lot of shows, getting a lot of practice in, or progressing with recordings. So what we wanted to do with Lodi is just take this huge level of energy that we had, this cooped up energy, and just start going full throttle. We're just starting out, so obviously, the whole coronavirus and stuff is just affecting us a little bit, compared to other established bands. But our goals are to get out of town, play as many shows out of town as possible, while still, being able to, control our lives, and just go further and farther than we've been, playing clubs that we wanted to play with bands that are farther away. And, Let It Breathe had a little bit more of a specific show style, and the bands that we would play with are a little bit more in the, doom, stoner / genre specifically. But another thing that Randy and I wanted to do is just play with any band, anywhere, anytime. I mean, we don't want to isolate ourselves into a certain genre. I mean, what we're doing is, it sounds like Let It Breathe a little bit, but we don't want to write specifically to any genre either. So I think we're seeing a little bit more urgency in some of the songs that we're writing, a little bit more, speed in some parts, kind of bringing in a little bit of thrash at some points, slow thrash, but still thrash. And then we just want to experiment with laying over vocals, and I'm trying to get my voice back after not singing for 8 years. So we're just not limiting ourselves as far as what we're putting together or how we're doing it at this point. We're just trying to feel it out. And Jake Willert is our new bass player, and I've been wanting to jam with Jake for years and years, probably a decade or more. Since I first saw him play in Body Politic, he just shreds, and he's when somebody knows rock and roll and how to play rock and roll that well, I've just always wanted to have him as my bass player. So we tried this thing out, and it clicked right away. So looking very forward to the future of Lodi. And, with the Let It Breathe thing, whatever happens, happens. We're always going to let that breathe. We'll see what comes up out of that, But with Lodi, we just kind of want to jam pack a lot into a little time frame, and just get stuff recorded and go play wherever, whenever, if it's at all possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good energy. Like it has a feeling to like have that like energy to go forward and then just have it like kind of like quashed real quick.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like we're all just kind of like, what? You know, like we were supposed to play this Friday at the Caboose with our friends Red Desert and Droids Attack, and that's not happening. And everybody held out to the very last minute. Like, is the show going to go on? You know, are there going to be more citywide restrictions? And everyone just kind of waited until finally the Caboose was just like, nope, we're done with that. So hopefully that'll get rescheduled. But all I know is that like after this, hopefully people are going to want to go out. They're going to want to get rocked. They're going to want to party. You know, they're going to want to get loaded after this whole thing is done. And, you know, we just want to like be there when that happens and just kind of like play as much rock as we can.
I think that they do now.
I know.
You know, that's that's actually the disturbing thing is
It's
that
St. Patrick's Day. Like, what do you do tonight, you know?
it should be acknowledged that it is St. Patrick's
Yes,
Day.
it's St. Patrick's Day. And I'm not wearing any green.
Yeah. Oh no. I don't think anyone is. But yeah, no,
wait,
it did
that's today.
Yeah.
Dang.
It didn't slow anyone down. I mean,
Yeah.
Saturday at the bar, there's a couple hundred people there, and I from what I heard downtown last night, people were out like we won't be able to go out tomorrow, which shame on you.
I didn't go out.
Yeah, what the fuck, people.
I was tempted. I was very tempted knowing that every place I love was going to be closed the next day. So, but nope.
Did you catch our PSA, Jason? We made a fun little video last night.
I didn't see that. No.
It's a hand washing song. We can show you a little later.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, my cuticles are turning to dust from how much I'm washing my hands all day long.
Yeah, my fingers started bleeding the other day actually, just from regular usage. I mean, like sadly, all weekend I was trying to wash my hands at least every few minutes during my bartending shift, and I had people ridicule me like I don't understand. Like, I don't get it.
I don't know. It's definitely something where like we're all realizing that this is nothing to screw with, but like even leading up to it, I was like, no way. There's no way that like this is going to be worse than the flu. Damn.
Yeah, well, I mean, for sure, we're going to have this temporary lifestyle change, I assume. I don't know how long it's going to go for, but, you know. Oof.
Well, this is very new. It's not something people have dealt with here before at all in recent history. So I think it's just uncharted territory, kind of.
Yeah, I think so. And especially since we haven't seen like the worst of it yet. Like when other countries are just now hitting their apex of the virus, we haven't even gotten there yet. There's a lot to live through yet. Hopefully it's not very bad. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if people just, you know, calm down and, you know, watch lots of really great web content.
Yeah. Yep.
Support your local bands on the internet.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think, you know, I mean, it's never any harm, I don't think, like for what you guys are doing or for what anyone's like casting or whatever. Like if bands just go down to their practice space and just do like a Facebook live stream. I mean, if someone's totally entertained, you know, by that, I mean, if there's a donation button, that's always cool, you know. There could be some money trickling in somehow, you know.
Yeah, it would be nice if there was a good way to do that, because I really do think that there's going to be some kind of, you know, like very direct monetized streaming service, like some incentive for people to go live and tip live.
Yeah.
A lot of things have that built in. I think even YouTube might. I know TikTok does these weird like GIFs where you can send somebody like a toad on a mushroom or like a fruit cake, and it's like worth some amount of credits. It's a very strange system. I don't fully understand it. But I think YouTube you can tip. What are the other ones? What are the other main streaming platforms?
There's Venmo, right? Oh, that's Venmo's the paying thing. What is it?
Twitch. Twitch is one.
You can go live on Instagram too, and Periscope is on. I don't know if anyone uses Periscope.
Yeah, Instagram and Periscope almost certainly don't have any monetization options, but I think some of the other ones do.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a quick Google search away.
Yep.
You know,
No one's here to Google search.
I'd like to pick your brain on this one because there's much to be said about where Mankato's music scene is right now, and all this energy that's built up into it. But I think a big part of the way that we got to where we are today is like not changing with the times and you know, keeping up with kids, basically, you know, digital culture. But you know, looking back at, you know, what people often consider to be Mankato's musical heyday, which I would like if it could even be defined in years. When people talk about that rock culture, that like Mankato was great.
Yeah.
It was in the early 90s.
Yep. It was in the late 80s and early 90s, yeah. I speaking from some experience, I moved here in 89, so when I got here, it was in like full swing. And that was like, I would say like that was the end of the first round, and then the second round came after that. So I suppose like, you know, people like Chuck Rodriguez, Mark Abraham, Dustin Perry, Jeffrey Schnobrick, those folks, they were setting up shows at, you know, like Legions, and there was actually like a youth center that was right up on Cherry Street, like Cherry and Fifth. And like national bands would come in and play those shows. SNFU, a lot of bands from the cities, Blind Approach, Outcry, all those bands would come down here. It's even rumored that, oh no, not rumored, but I wasn't here. I would have loved to have been, but apparently Husker Du played in Lower North Mankato, like in the basement below like a barber shop. And that was like, yeah, I was still in another state, like, you know, still very young at that point. But let's see what else. I think the Replacements played here too at one point in time. And I think if I'm getting it right, it might have been like at the bowling alley on 169. What else? But yeah, like
The old Dutlers.
yeah,
They
that
do
had to
music
been old
there?
Dutlers, yeah.
But what was the fundamental change? Was the culture brought about by the music of the time, or the promoters, the venue? You know, I wasn't there.
I think it's like the promoter of the time. I think you could like trace back to those mid to late 80s. You know, like when Jeff and the Libido Boys and those bands at the time here in Mankato were putting on local shows. I mean, I think Jeff Schnobrick was like the Mankato like contact person. You know, there's like all these punkers that were in Minneapolis that were the contact people, like Jason Parker and THD, and you know, like Big Money and stuff like that. All those you know, like I guess you'd call it like maybe second wave at that point, but you know, you knew who was setting up the shows. And so it was Jeff for a long time. Then a bunch of people started doing small shows inspired by him. Ryan Frederick, I remember seeing Misery in his backyard. And of course, like Dan Fisher, who, you know, was supposed to have Green Day play in his backyard, but the cops came, so we had to move it out to like St. Peter to a farm, and they played on like wire spools, that kind of stuff. I mean, that was like back in 91. So, but then after that, it was like a small group of folks, Bundy, Leon, myself, we were trying to set up shows. Dan Fisher, we were trying to set up shows as much as possible, renting out whatever Eagles Club would give us the time of day, or, you know, we always like, I remember with my student loans, I bought a PA, like a PVPA with these huge tower speakers, and we would drive them around in my Chevy Citation to the next show, you know? So we had the means to do it, and we'd drop everything to do it. So there was a while there where that was going on. And then, of course, Marty's opened up, and that was right downtown on Front Street, right next to, at the time, Ernie November's, and Filling Station was right across the street. And we did Marty's for about 2.5 years. And a friend of mine from Faribault one day was like, hey, this booking agent, I can't keep up with what she's trying to send me anymore. I don't have a place. Would you take this list of numbers and would you get a hold of her? So it was Stormy Shepherd, and she booked bands like Jawbreaker, Green Day. I think she might have even booked like Fugazi. But she was booking like a lot of the Fat Records bands too. But we just got shows rolling. We had a place to do it, and we had a tiny little PA, and we were packing the place with 250 kids. That was right across the street from, or kitty corner from, the cop shop too. So we were always skateboarding out front. And
Oh, that was what is now that comic book store?
no, Tons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like it's connected to Tons, and now it's the escape room.
I see.
That's right.
And this was in 94, 95.
This was in between 92 and 95.
92 and 95.
Yep. 90, yeah, late 92.
So it was an organizational thing, that the music was hitting at the same time as it was coming to you, and then there was people who were putting the energy into doing the shows.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was basically like, Mankato's a great spot, and I would hope that bands haven't like forgotten this, or if they don't know it, you should know it. If you're driving up from Chicago, if you're driving up from Iowa, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and if you're going to go play the cities, stop through Mankato. Like, hopefully there's someone here that you know, but this is a great little midpoint between the cities and other states around us.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are asking for music, but there does seem to be a little bit of I don't know how to describe it exactly. I don't want to point it in any kind of negative way, because the people, they want to be there. Like,
yeah.
you hear that in what they're saying, but it's something I sit and think about at night.
yeah. A lot of things have changed. I think you'd see that also in a larger city like Minneapolis, where you've got all these people that are in the scene, in the culture, but there's also like a million things going on the same night as the punk rock show you want to go see, and that's gonna dwindle the turnout. So I think there's a lot of things that we all deal with as promoters, or as someone that's interested in furthering the cause. But I mean, when people can go right on YouTube and watch a live set of their favorite band, like, with their cat in their lap, they might just prefer to do that. But back in those days, like, there was no internet, and there was no like, Bandcamp or anything like that. There was no Spotify. You just wait for that show, because the band would have records, tapes, CDs, or like shirts, or back then, and they still do it at some, like smaller punk shows. I mean, people would bring distribution, like records to distribute. So they'd, collect them from touring bands, buy extra, and then go and sell these records, at booths at shows.
Oh, like a pop-up record store.
Totally. Yep. And I mean, they would just they would just keep collecting, keep getting extra merch, and then they would serve as like a store to sell a band's merch while they were continuing their tour. So
I suppose if you want to travel with a band, or like, that's a sustainable way to continue to see music. Or, I mean, it was in that time period.
Yeah, I think I hate dwelling on the past and stuff like that, but I remember the sense of involvement being so much more personal, and you could see the change you're having on people's lives. You watch them, when you're a promoter at a venue, you watch people, get into it. And these days there's just a lot more going on, and in this town it's kind of tough, because there aren't a lot of DIY venues. So you're always wrestling with, like, who's playing Busters, like this big huge band, that's getting paid a guarantee of like $4,000, or who's playing the What's Up Lounge. Like, I don't know, but do I want to go to the What's Up Lounge? Like, there's not a lot concentrated in downtown, and that's why I love that you're doing opening up Red Rocks for a more multi-purpose kind of a venue. But yeah, there's not a lot that, bars, they want to make money. They just need to make money. So there's not a lot of leeway as far as that stuff goes anymore.
Well, as I see it, they're leaving money on the table, or a lot of people are. And the thing you said about interacting with people and people being somewhere else now, I think that that's still true, and that a lot of places need to like interact with people where they're being like, if they spend 80% of their day at their phone, like, why are you trying to get them to look up from your phone?
Right.
Because that's where they're at. Like, you're selling them something they don't want. They're already addicted.
Yeah. It's really tough. I mean, to motivate people to come out and support local, sometimes support local anything, it's kind of tough, especially when you can just go online and just order anything you want and it'll be there in 2 days, But I don't know, like the feeling that I'm getting lately though in Mankato, especially over the last couple of years, is the hip hop scene rules, and those are like the punk rock shows now because there's not a lot of punk rock bands in town. There's barely any. And those bands are actually like touring, like, Grandma's is, for instance, one of those bands that is just like playing all over the place all the time. But the hip hop scene has grown like exponentially. Everybody's super cool. It's going to be the coolest crowd you run into like in Mankato. And it's just got the energy of a punk rock show. Like everyone, I mean, just wants to come out and have a great time. It's, I think it's also maybe easier in a sense to like go out to a hip hop show versus the punk rock show, whereas you can actually like, get away or have a conversation versus if you're like at like in a venue and you're just cooped in a venue and it's so loud and you can't like hang out with your friends necessarily, but like it's just a different dynamic. But I got to say, like, hip hop is one of the most like, innovative genres of music right now, and I think like they're just taking it seriously and they're just like killing it. So I get the same energy feeling when I go to a hip hop show here as if I go to a punk rock show, probably even more.
Yeah, we're taking notes on them, to be honest. Like I feel like the way in which culturally the scene here gasses each other up and like does a great job of always collaborating with each other, like that makes it basically impossible for you not, like you I can tell you to listen to my buddy's band, and there's no better way to do that by just having my buddy do a song with me. Totally. And they do that all the time. I can't think of a hip hop show I've been to, and I've worked all the showcases at Red Rocks now and gone to some other ones where they're pulling people up onto the stage from out of the crowd and passing them a microphone, and they're doing a song right there.
Love it.
And it is a great way to organize and gas each other up.
Another cool, when you mentioned that happening like on a hip hop stage, like Laura from B-Bomb Fields and, Pete and like Colin and Laura and all of the different side projects that those folks have going on with like B-Bomb Fields and Goodnight Gold Dust. And like, I've heard secrets and I've heard like rumors of like this collaboration and that collaboration. And, just the amount of collaboration within those scenes has just been awesome. And you never know what you're going to get. Like you never know if you go to see this one person, if who's going to be on stage with them, there's a great element of surprise here, and a lot of musicians like giving it their all and like really, really trying. And I think another part of it too is like, once you've been doing this kind of thing for a long time, you're like, okay, so one lesson that I've learned, I'm not going to get rich off doing this. I'm probably not going to make much money. So like, I think the musicians are just kind of like, there's a pill you have to swallow, and there's a thing that you have to accept. Like, okay, well, I'm going to live this lifestyle and that's it, and I'm going to try my hardest, but chances of getting signed to a major label, pretty slim. Chances of, touring with, I don't know, Post Malone, slim, But
I mean, is that the thing to do anymore? I'm not sure that getting signed to a major label is even the right move for the
Yeah,
majority of musicians anymore.
I don't even think that. I mean, of course, like where I was when I was like really trying with music, like one of the times in my life that I was really trying, quote unquote, you're always thinking like, what if a major, what if you had that some rep saw you like screaming your ass off on stage and was like, cool. And then here's this offer. But, a lot of people grow out of doing it too. A lot of people like just settle into their job, settle into their career. And they're just basically like, oh, that happened once, that was me once. But, those of us that are still doing it, we have more realistic expectations now, I think. I think you can weather more storms because you're already self-funding your musical project,
And physical media isn't such a huge obstacle anymore.
No, it's not. I mean, vinyl's huge. I mean, vinyl is in demand, and if you go to a show and a band has a record that looks awesome, you're probably going to buy it. It's one of those like keepsakes. It's like a takeaway that's a keepsake, and you can spend an hour with a record alone, But as far as like CDs anymore, pretty much out. As far as, other mass-produced product, pretty much out. If you go to a show, you're probably going to see a band that prints their own shirts, and it's probably going to be one color, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be $10, like you don't survive off your merch at this level. But I don't know, you could make it worth it. I mean, lots of us make it worth it, and selling anything is exciting, and it's it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, But I don't know. I don't think that's kind of the thing. Like, there haven't been many artists from Mankato that have made it out of Mankato or made it out of the state or been, huge in Minneapolis or whatever. It seems like we always have kind of a distance between like, everybody that's really going for it up there versus
a lot of festival bands have kind of done that though. Like we have like Kind Country came out of Mankato and Useful Jenkins.
Yeah. I don't really pay much attention to like the jammier stuff though, honestly.
Yeah. But that is like you get plugged into that festival circuit, and like those people are also super networked. Like it's such a tight-knit community. And I think that's where a lot of that energy is. And they want to get out of town,
Yeah, totally.
Like, even the fans, they want to go do what they do in a field.
Yeah. I suppose I guess for me, like just personally, I just don't really get into like the festival thing or, the jam festivals or whatever. It's nothing personal. I just think my tastes are a little more into the DIY punk scene or, that kind of stuff.
Do you have any opinions about, do you feel like now going from releasing an album previously to now everything's a single, do you feel like that's changed anything with the way that you digest music?
Well, I was talking about attention spans earlier. Yeah, I think definitely if you've got a strong like 3-song or 6-song EP, that's straight, like 1, 2, 3 and to the point. Yeah, I really don't know. I do. I listen to full albums all the time, but I don't know if many people listen to full albums. And, in these days where you can just create like a Spotify playlist within 5 minutes and they're all your favorite songs and you're not sitting through the deep cuts of an album. Like, I'd say more people do that these days.
Yeah. And I'm an album person too. I really like to play from start to finish. And a lot of times I try and just approach it and not know which one the single is, because sometimes I have a different opinion, but like, knowing this is like their song, and a lot of people say that they'll be like, that's their song,
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
I don't know.
So people still have hits, obviously, but none of the hits really chart though. You know what I mean? Either. It's kind of weird. They're just, things that friends send each other that are cool.
Yeah.
Well, playlist curation seems to play a big part of that now too, where typically people will listen on platform like Spotify or I guess Pandora maybe too, but what that is sort of like a big act of playlist curation and like combining a bunch of different songs together to create a story that maybe the artist didn't intend, but it creates the mood for the listener. And,
True. It's customization then, yeah.
so I think that can add. It's just different, I think. So there's pros and cons associated with that as well.
I wonder like what the difference between the Spotify the playlists that are curated by a person and something that's totally algorithmic like Pandora is.
Right.
Someone should make like a blind A/B test and see what people prefer.
Yeah. I tried Pandora for a while, and Pandora always just upset me because it would throw in the next song would just be like, no, I don't want to hear that. No, you're in like you're listening to a Judas Priest, start off with Judas Priest and you end up like with Alice Cooper, something like that.
Just makes those decisions for you that maybe you didn't want made.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and if you have an opinion, but don't they have like a very intuitive like up down button?
They do. Yeah, you can skip it, I suppose. Yeah, or like it or whatever.
I never liked Pandora. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah,
basically from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good to run in a shop, like I suppose just randomly, but I don't know, not for me. If I like start off with King Diamond, I want to end up listening to something along those lines, and not just like be sent to, I don't know. What else? You can just scratch that whole part.
It's especially bad for people who like to listen to an album or want to listen to a specific song from an artist, whereas something like Spotify where you can create your own list and listen to the album if you like.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful where it offers a little more flexibility. And maybe I'm wrong about how Pandora works. You can probably do some of that if you pay enough, but
if you pay enough, yeah. Not the free.
Pandora used to be really free. I used to listen to it back in high school all the time, Kid Cudi radio and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was free. You'd get unlimited skips, and it was pretty neat.
I wonder what their motivation for that was.
Interesting. I remember when Kid Cudi was like huge.
Yeah.
I still love him.
That was my high school artist for sure.
Yeah.
And some other stuff that is less cool to say out loud.
High school.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to throw all my high school pics out there either.
I remember like in high school, like for me, like I think I was actually in 8th grade, and it was like the Def Leppard drummer got in a car accident. He lost his left arm, and all these girls were like, "Oh my God, he's armless," and I was just laughing, I was into Motorhead. I wasn't into Def Leppard at the time.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah. I don't know where. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. So do you think you see some inspiration in Mankato music scene here now? You kind of see it bubbling a little bit and
I
think
do.
It's ripe?
Yeah, I think it's really, really doing well right now. Like I always, like, even if I'm not like going to shows at a certain time, I'm always kind of like paying attention to what's going on and trying to figure out like, the new bands that are popping up and stuff like that. Over the last couple of years, it's just been so much more diverse. I mean, had like some electronic stuff that you guys were doing, which I just love. I mean, I spend half of my time listening to electronic stuff, and even like shoegaze and stuff like that, and even dance stuff. Love it. But like for a while there, in Mankato, it'll just be like, okay, like, acoustic act this, or, like just the cover band this, or rock band this, or whatever. But, or like, you get into these like long phases of like new metal or something like that. And, when I see like just new ideas popping up, like Beige Interior, or even like Jim, like I'm not super into like experimental, but you never know what you're going to get with a band like that. And I think it's really important that people are just getting up and like trying something like totally off the cuff. And so there's been a lot more of that over the last couple of years. I really, really enjoy like seeing something different.
Yeah.
It's fun to be different too. We had experiences even just starting that group. We were getting asked to do shows we had no business playing, and I think it was because we were just different.
Yeah. And, and some people don't know how to react because they go to a show to see this type of music, So I've definitely witnessed like a lot more diversity in show lineups too, like band lineups around town.
Yeah. Who should we be watching for? You know?
Well, of course, like I think the probably the best band around right now is Beulah Rue. I think waiting for them to put their recording out, that'll be amazing once they put their album out. The stuff you guys recorded for them is fantastic. But I'd say Beulah Rue is one. B-Bomb just keeps getting more and more awesome, as do Goodnight Gold Dust. I mention them all the time because I love them. But Onion Bun too, like Onion Bun and all, like Zach's involved with maybe another thing too, but like I just like get excited for like any new indie stuff popping up too. But I think those are like the bands right there that are going to make an impact and probably, keep Mankato on the map. Cicada Killer, awesome. And that's like some heavy, like Russian circles-y type music stuff. And, that they have all the potential in the world. They're just sonically, they're amazing. So I'd love to see them put out a record, and I'd love to see them get out of state too. That'd be great.
Yeah. We were trying to plan something with them. We actually had to postpone a shoot with them that we were going to do tomorrow. We're going to do a very similar thing.
Oh, cool.
To what we just did with y'all, but some of their circumstances changed and we had to postpone. Yeah, actually, Goodnight Gold Dust. Were you at the show at the Wine Cafe where the two projects that was given names and Silver Summer?
Yeah.
And we're networking with them a little bit too. And Colin's solo project, Older Brother. We got to play with. We had the opportunity to play with Older Brother twice, and hopefully we're going to be doing a little bit of Triple Falls stuff very soon.
Yes.
Little quarantine session.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, we always talk about like when we go down to practice, we're like, should we Facebook Live this? And then we're like, oh, how many beers have we had? So, yeah, you guys caught us in rare form that night. Wow. I mean, rarer than rare. That was awesome.
Yeah, no, that was such a good time.
It's what has kept me going is like just the ability to beat on drums is basically what I've been living for lately, as far as just keeping busy and trying to stay not depressed through the winter. So I like to apply myself to that. It's been really fun.
Are there any near field plans to head to the studio?
Yeah, well, I don't know how the pandemic is going to affect that, but we are going to go into a Lower Tone studio in St. Paul. We've recorded there before with Let It Breathe, and we're going to try to rip out hopefully between 6 and 8 songs. So, and I don't know what'll happen with it. I mean, we may just like put it up on Bandcamp or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, albums are really expensive to make. It's hard to get the money to make like an actual vinyl record. So we'll see what happens with it. I mean, but I think I think the songs are gonna smoke, and we just want to get something recorded so that we can, use it to get shows, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I've had Free to Ride stuck in my head like 4 different times now. I'm counting. Yeah.
So we're just like, in Let It Breathe, we were writing songs, like the songs were like about like serial killers and wizards and dragons and, medieval stuff. A lot of those songs were, and we were just like, okay, let's just like make every song about like partying, drugs, and partying. And so that's kind of the direction we've taken, and it's been really, really fun. And we're just trying to like write like anthemic choruses and, like just make it fun to crank is what we're going to try to do. So, but yeah, the choruses are shaping up pretty nice.
Yeah, I like that. And you know what? Some people don't like fun, and I don't like those people. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
what's wrong with you?
So yeah, that's another thing. Like, I don't want to consider Lodi a metal band. I'd say we're just a rock and roll band. But when it boils down to it, like a lot of people take their metal way too seriously. And so like for a band like Lodi not to have a fun time and not to maybe get too loaded to play, but still go up and play like or whatever, like we're not in this to make any money, and we're not in this to like impress anybody. We're just having a blast, we're like older dudes and we just want to like, play rock and roll and have a good time. That's it. Been doing this for a long time, and just want to like shed all the business and all the crap and just like have fun.
Yeah, this is how many local bands have you played in now? This is 4, 3.
Oh boy. I've
I
probably been
way
in
off.
like 15
Oh
bands.
my god.
Yeah.
That was so far off.
I started playing in bands back in 90. So
You're just in all of like the cool Mankato t-shirt bands. Like if there was like if there was like 3 Mankato t-shirts that I see all the time. I see that Old Town Ghost t-shirt and I see the Let It Breathe t-shirt.
Yep.
I see them everywhere.
yeah. Oh well. Historically in the bands that I do, like merch has been like a important part of that. I love to draw and design stuff for my bands, and I also just get a charge out of people thinking that the merch is like cool or funny, but like there's a lot of bands that don't ever even get around to that point, that like they get so far and they're playing shows and then all of a sudden they're gone. Like I just want to leave something behind for every band basically.
Yeah.
So, but I
Well,
mean, yeah, I like the art element as not as much as playing, but I do like the art element, and I love to be able to, provide my bands with some sort of merch and some sort of art. So,
That's awesome.
You definitely leave a real effect on the landscape, when you see, because you'll see a lot of shirts out over and over again from local stuff, and it's iconic, man.
yeah, I wish that's one thing I wish would be easier to make a living at. I mean, so I went into graphic design in my later college years, and I've been a graphic designer for over 20 years, but sometimes I wish I didn't take those student loans out, and sometimes I wished I would have just gone off on the rails with like a sketchbook and figured it out on my own and never accumulated that debt, and always be able to just create art freely without the worry of, like having to pay back a shit ton of bills and stuff. So,
Are you still paying for college?
oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's my own fault, but I guess when you have, a family and a couple kids and stuff like that, you do the minimum payments, or you don't do the payments, or you get it
Yeah.
reconfigured and stuff like that. But I definitely enjoyed my college experience, but yeah, I think fun prevailed over that.
And it's come full circle.
It has. Who cares?
Yeah, fun rules.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find it? Like if they're looking for your music.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, first off, I should probably talk about the live punk rock karaoke band that I'm doing too. So I hopped into 2 bands right away after my busy season at work. I'm doing another band, which is a live punk rock karaoke band with Tom Heffernan and Ruby Tuesday. And we've been jamming since the middle of November, about the same time Lodi got together. And we've amassed a song list of about 60 to 70 songs, ranging from like the Talking Heads and Blondie all the way to the Dead Kennedys and Black Flag and everything in the middle. And we just have a blast doing it. We haven't tried it at a venue yet. We're trying to figure out the logistics of having that work out, but a bunch of printouts, laminated printouts, so you can spill beer all over. But we try to bring people down to the practice space and try out live singers. It's just been fantastic. I've always wanted to, every band I'm always in, I'm like, let's do this cover. Let's do this cover. This is my favorite song. Let's do some Sex Pistols. Let's, do some Germs or whatever. And everyone's like, nah, we just want to write, our own songs, which is totally cool. But I always love going to see a band and they pull out like a cover that I just go ape shit over, Can we swear?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Um,
Well, no, you can't.
not anything. But yeah, like, so that's been a thing that's been really, really keeping my spirits up too. And our practices are fun, hilarious. Tom Heffernan is one of the best musicians I've ever played with. He's a human like jukebox, literally. So he, at a typical practice, he'll just like sing every song, it's so great. So we'll be coming to be playing shows here pretty soon. I think we were going to do Record Store Day, but of course that got postponed as well. And then we have like a wedding that we're playing in May too. I don't know if that'll get postponed as well, but we'll see. We can't wait to like support some of our favorite charities. We'll be able to play like a 3-hour set, and it'll just be fun, and looking forward to like helping out KMSU and doing some fundraisers for them too as well. So I think those will be fun shows.
Yeah, but it will be like a thing where you can like sign up and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're gonna try like Facebook signups. So like we'll post a set list, like a couple weeks before a show, and then people can kind of like, in the thread below it, they can kind of reserve the songs that they want to sing, and we'll focus on those.
Yeah, I think that might be a really good way to get it into a venue, is be like, hey, like, we have people who are coming, or it's like in their interest. Like they reached out to us saying they're going to come.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be great if someone actually like, wants to sing the song and they see it on the set list and they're like, oh, and they go home and practice. That'd be really cool. 'Cause I mean, we're like a full volume live band. So it could really, really be cool. If you've never sang in a punk rock band before, now's your chance. It's going to be really fun. So hopefully we can get the monitors loud enough for people to hear themselves.
We were talking earlier about the different things the reasons people go out to shows or go to an event. And I think that's really cool, especially because I think what you're doing there is providing someone another reason, whether they're wanting to participate or wanting to see that. Like that's fun. And it's different, and it's not something I've ever really seen before. So I think that's a really neat project.
I think it could change somebody's life. I think if someone's like, oh, I love Call Me by Blondie. I love that song. Well, why don't you try singing it? Do you have a decent singing voice? I mean, we'll do video of like every show, so it'd be cool. It'd be a cool takeaway for someone too, but I would think that might inspire someone to actually pick up a mic and, sing.
Yeah, cool. Everyone needs more singers. Singers are they're a commodity.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Plugs? Are we doing that?
Plugs. Okay, so yeah, plugs. All right.
Well, we were talking about the availability of your music too.
Sure.
Make sure people can find things.
Okay, so Let It Breathe is the most recent band that I've done that has actual product for sale. I think we did sell out of our records, but if you wanted to just get a hold of us on our Facebook page, we still have a grip of records that we could sell you. We still have shirts and stuff too, and Lodi will be putting some stuff up on Bandcamp here eventually. Other than that, like as far as stuff that you can get that I've been a part of, I think the last one might be, I don't know. I was in a band called Pocket Genius in Minneapolis, and they have a few records out, and our stuff is on Spotify too. So Pocket Genius drummed and sang in that band. But beyond that, there's nothing really being made right now at this point. So yeah, I might be leaving some stuff out, but no other products.
Are live shows the best way then? Upcoming live shows
Pretty much.
Once we get out of this current lockdown?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Live shows, and then of course we'll have t-shirts and hope maybe a demo by the time we start playing again. Who knows?
Nice Lodi fanny pack. I think that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Of course we want to do like customized bat boxes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
we're
that'd be
thinking
sick.
like Coke mirrors,
Oh yeah.
with like our logo printed underneath that, or like, yeah,
Granular on top
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
problematic.
yeah, maybe.
I don't think anyone ever watches 40 minutes into these things. anyways.
Yeah, we're almost at an hour, y'all.
Cool.
wow.
It's been super fun to chat. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to encourage like all the artists and all the musicians out there to, get through this. Let's get through it and come out swinging, and let's all have a party, because when you can't party, but then you can again, then you should party.
It makes for a really great party at the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
All that pent up party energy.
The man's really got us down, like groups of 10.
Yeah. Wow. It's surreal, eh?
Yeah, I almost forgot about it during the conversation.
I know,
Like what
I
it's
know.
going to be like to walk outside after this.
Weird.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay. Hopefully, we'll be
Yeah.
all right. Yep.
We're going to wash our hands and everything's going to be all right.
Was that a plug for our song again?
It wasn't.
Oh.
But yeah, names. You want to drop any names? Any family or friends you want to shout out to? before
Oh,
we take off
jeez.
here?
Well, let's. I don't know. The people that inspire me the most around here, of course. Like there's Laura Carls, Peter Klug, Intelligent Design, Robert. There's just too many. We probably shouldn't put that on there, because I'll leave somebody out and then I'll feel like shit for doing it.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll call it. This has been the TF Cast.
Cool.
Jason.
I keep looking at that as if it's the camera.
Come on.
I know. Lamp. Love lamp.
Thanks for being on the cast. It
Thanks,
was good to have
guys.
you.
Yep, always a pleasure.
Oh.
Good luck editing that if you even try.
Oh, we might leave it, honestly. Unless you're like really opposed.
Those are just, we've never edited a cast.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Everything is just 100%.